get to this bridge area and the strange things that happened later on in the video. You can really see how those torrential rains we had totally ripped through this area. This was a flash flood roaring rapid section a couple weeks ago. And we're going somewhere a little different today. Welcome to a place I like to call my top secret desert testing grounds. Currently it is 89 degrees at 12:30 in the afternoon, so not too bad for out here in the low-lying desert southwest. A little warm to be camping out here, but this is just going to be a short overnighter. This will be the Halloween camping episode. And hopefully if everyone's schedule is good to go, I should have a couple of buddies showing up. We're going to tell you all about the creepy, scary camping and strange experiences that we've had while out here in the desert, or just out camping in general. Rough stuff out here. Look at that wicked piece of rock out there in the distance. Hard to tell from here, but that is 1,900 feet tall. And like many of the peaks and mountains out here in the desert, they're most likely extinct volcanoes, or kind of like volcanic rifts where the lava had cooled and all the dirt finally fell away. Been coming out this way many years, and we have all seen our fair share of strange things out here. Seen some strange lights and a bunch of military aircraft. And many believe that that strange looking peak out there may have something to do with it. Strange objects, balls of light. Maybe it's emitting some kind of strange power up to the heavens. But it all seems to surround that thing. Could be the aliens, it could be the military testing new aircraft, who knows? I'm not a huge believer in all that stuff. Sometimes you gotta wonder when you see some things you just can't explain, especially when others have seen very similar things. Should be coming up on our campsite here soon. Speaking of strange things in the air, what the heck is that? I don't know if that's military grade or civilian grade drone stuff, but it's watching me. Oh yeah, that's definitely civilian grade. It's like a DJI. Now we're just gonna cruise on down this wash. I don't think I'm gonna need four-wheel drive. Sand's pretty compact today, but you never know. I don't know what I can get away with compared to the Tacoma as far as floating sand. See how it does in this sand in two-wheel drive. Ah, no problem. And there's our buddy. He has not yet been on the channel. That would be Uncle UP. He likes nice trucks also. We're gonna get out and take a look, and I'm gonna see where I want to land this craft. Man, this stuff got washed out pretty good in the last couple weeks. Now we found the drone culprit right here. Very cool. Having a little bit of strange drone glitching going on here today. Same with my phone when I was filming. That's kind of odd. Let's see how smooth it is. Oh. Might have to grab it.
It doesn't actually grab you.
Oh yeah, it's sensing the ground, huh? Or what it thinks is ground.
Finally.
Oh, finally. I don't know, it might have something to do with that strange peak out there.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I'm telling you, there's some strange things that go on out here that are just unexplained like that. And I'm being truthful on that. There's some strange glitching going on here today. Very weird. Well, I think that's going to work out for tonight. I'm not even going to unhook. I'm just going to leave it just like that. Finally get to use this crazy camp table.
I brought two things. I got my griddle.
Oh, good.
Some a hammer. And I think my mom has one kind of similar to that. My what do we bring? Some jalapenos and that such. Onions.
Oh, we should be good to go.
I don't think we'll start. I didn't think I bought.
I think I've only used this thing like 3 times, man. I never take it with me unless I'm squatted.
Found something. It's a little bit on the warm side, but not too bad. I think a night, what is it, like 52 or something I say?
Yeah, I think it's just cool enough to sleep in.
Well, that's all really bad. It's in the daytime I can put up some heat. I turn off the AC at the house for now.
Oh yeah. Once the sun goes down, it'll be pretty nice. I think I'll run the camp kitchen going this way. This thing's pretty cool, this GCI outdoor table. I mean, you get a lot for how compact that folds up, but it does take up a good amount of space in a vehicle. And it even has a dishwashing basin with a drain. And a retractable lantern hanger.
Starlink is just, he has that on here. I don't know how they can fight that.
Isn't that cool? We got a little one right there.
I have plenty. I can leave you guys. You don't need lemon or you don't need a doctor.
What's that?
I have a lot of trash.
Oh, do you? We probably only need 1 or 2, man. Oh, that looks pretty good.
I didn't use. And his son used to be best friends.
Yeah, somebody bought me that nice insulated koozie a while back.
You know, I'm gonna check out that. You must be a dear friend of that dude. How fun with that other stuff? He drinks America beer.
No light stuff.
There's a firewater.
You get all kinds of.
They had a pitch, it was a kamikaze night. You get a pitcher of kamikaze for $1. Your face is numb all of a sudden. One time me and my buddy went to a mini truck show, and long necks, man.
Is there any more? He goes, no. All
right, it's just about time to kick back and start some dinner here soon. I couldn't film what was going on earlier because there's a lot of adult language going on, a lot of guy stuff, but you may have seen this guy here before. That is Senor Pescado, aka Mr. Fish, and his Uncle UP. All right, it's almost the golden hour and we've already started. But look at how green that desert's looking right now. That is crazy. I need to bust some of this stuff up. It's too thick. Some of our friends think I'm wood bougie. I'm like, no, There's a difference. This stuff smells good, and you don't smell like crap. Yeah, pine is pretty sooty. All right, I got this fire stacked in a crisscross pattern here. So once we're done cooking, I'm just gonna shove the coals underneath, and that fire is gonna light right up. Well, we're getting the sunset shots. The golden hour is upon us. And I keep telling you guys, there's strange things in the air around this. Where is that at? There you go. We got a strange object. It looks like an airliner. It's a real professional right there. Got the glasses on and everything.
On the end of the nose.
There you go. And I was being 100% honest earlier, and we were having some strange glitching issues out here. And I'm totally not churching that up at all. Sometimes there's just some weird anomalies out here. It might be due to the hills, or they do a lot of laser light reflect. They do a lot of... This is what you don't see. They do a lot of laser light refracting out here, and for military testing, so who knows what's messing with stuff. This isn't your typical ghost story or TV show here.
So UP, Uncle UP is said to be a medicine man, maybe a visionary, a descendant from the old times. His knowledge of the land and the things that happen on the desert are only sought by his people. His knowledge, unforeseen and unfounded.
You never know. So Uncle UP here is a long-term resident of the area. He knows a whole bunch about this place. So other than scary stories here, he might give you a little history lesson. But we're going to let the sun go down here before we fire up the fire. And then we'll start talking about some weird or interesting stuff. Like I was saying, some strange military aircraft. Looks like a, what was that, a C-130? What's up with these match lights? Huh.
Yeah, I have to plan when so I'll take off work the next day.
It's too bad you can't be out tomorrow.
Yeah, these are going to be pretty good. Steakhouse tri-tip burgers. Got a little pepper jack and cheddar on these.
I didn't know why my thing wouldn't fly earlier too. That was crazy. It just wouldn't turn on. It kept...
Literally just lost all the video of us eating a burger, so how's that burger?
Delicious.
Not bad for a pre-season burger, huh?
That's a good burger right there, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on right now, and I'm not even lying about this. My video just stopped after 14 seconds of rolling after I brought out the burgers for everybody. Pretty weird, man. That was weird. Mine was tapping into something, it looked like, because it was, you know, when you check the audio, it shows Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's weird.
Strange things happen in the desert.
Lots of strange things happen out here.
Yeah, and an uncle told me a story one time about picking up some Marines on the canal bank there.
Rings?
Marines,
Marines?
and they were pretty frightened. And he asked them what's going on, and they said, "Well, these Indian horsemen were chasing us down the wash." And he goes, "I'm Indian, so I don't think they bother us." And he goes, "I'll take you back to your vehicle, and you can leave." And said, "No, just take us to the base. We'll come back tomorrow." We had nothing. They didn't want anything to do with the desert that night. They said, "Let's get out of here."
Just
Yeah,
left the desert and that was
they
it.
didn't want to come back for nothing.
So, I really don't believe in all that kind of stuff until I see something, but I think the one legend around here is a guy they call the headless man. He's not really headless, he's just kind of, you can't see his face. And Mr. Fish can back this up, I think. So, one time we were out here camping, and camping back in the day used to be, we were out here all night drinking a 12er or two. And during the summer it's hot, so we'd go riding at night, crash out, wake up early in the morning before it got hot and went home. So we were riding out this great big canal, kind of like the canal you saw me drive in on. Exactly like that actually, but a little farther out. And we're a little ways out, and we decided to take a break out there in the dark, so we pulled down underneath this little bridge. We're sitting out there, and we see a guy out in the moonlight come walking out in the bridge, and he puts his hands over the guardrails and he's looking at us. And out in this area it's not uncommon to have a lot of people camping or people off-gridding trying to live during the winter. So we yelled out to this guy, we said, "Hey," nothing came back. So we yelled again, "Hey, what's going on?" And the guy said nothing. He's just standing there staring at us, and it was me and a buddy and his sister, and she flipped out. We were all on ATVs or quads. She flipped out, lit up that ATV, and probably was doing 50-60 miles an hour down a canal bank. So we fire up our lights, ATVs, we come up the other side of this bridge, and when we get up there, there's nobody there. Now this road was graded smooth. There was nothing there. There was no footprints on the other side of the embankment leading down the bushes. There's usually people maybe down there fishing. The bushes were cleaned up. There was nobody down there. There were no footprints at all. So after that, we decided we needed to hightail down this canal and find our friend. And we finally catch up to her about 2 miles down the road after she finally calmed down and didn't kill herself on the ATV. And that was a pretty strange thing. There were no footprints. There was nobody out there at all. We even went back to check, and there was nobody there. But when we looked up at this shadowy figure, all we seen is kind of a body in the moonlight, a full figure holding on to a railing. Now later on, I talked to a few people, one being Mr. Fish and his other buddy. We have a mutual buddy, and I don't like to give out too much information when it comes to this skeptical stuff. And well, I asked this guy if he's seen anything weird out here before, because we were all talking about strange things that we had seen. And without giving him too much information, that's how I do this to see if it's legit. This guy had alluded to a story not too far from here, or that bridge, maybe 2-3 miles, that he and his friend had been cruising down a wash, and they seen a figure of a man come up, and he had a strange plaid shirt on with strange markings, reddish black, but not your normal plaid. Some say it was more of a Indian native type pattern to his shirt. But when they seen this guy, they said that he didn't have a face. Not that he didn't have a head, that the face itself was kind of like static. It didn't exist. It was just a blur. Once they seen that, they just hightailed out of the area and took off. They made it back to camp, told their story. Everybody was on high alert, and they didn't see the man again. Now, later on, I had asked another local if they had seen anything strange around this canal area. And this local said that he'd been coming up this canal bank one time, and he'd seen a man with his back towards him walking down this canal. And he'd been pretty close to him, cruising up on him, and when he yelled at him, the man didn't turn around. He walked down the canal bank, and kind of like that bridge and canal I showed you earlier, he walked down the canal bank and went under the bridge. So as he pulled up, he got out of his truck, he looked under the bridge, which, by the way, only had about a foot or two airspace before the water reached it. And he said he seen nobody. This guy disappeared. But the odd thing was, he described the guy as an old Indian man, wearing a plaidish red shirt with strange patterning, and just kind of disappeared, but he couldn't see his face. Now, Mr. Pescado here, Mr. Fish, has had some pretty strange encounters over time while he was out fishing and maybe even camping. Now you can tell your canal story.
So there's this time I'm out here fishing, and I come out here by myself. Generally I always come with somebody else, but at the time the guy that was supposed to meet me didn't make it out. But this is back before cell phones existed. So I'm driving up and down the canal bank, same one they're talking about in the video, looking for a spot that I told the guy I'd be at. I don't see him. Keep driving. A couple other spots down the canal bank that have openings to fish at. Don't see him. Now in my mind it says, it's dusk, it's getting late, you should call it a night and go home. But the man in me is saying, you came out to go fishing. You need to go fishing. So I find a spot, get set up. So my first mistake was my buddy wasn't here. The second mistake I made was something was different with my poles that would have never happened. Of course, the man in me says, you're still going to go fishing. So I set off to get some poles free from the lines. As I'm doing this, there's nobody out. It's dark, sun setting. It's quiet. And in that quiet time, you can hear somebody walking up on you. You can hear something making noise. It's all this stuff that goes around you. But it was definitely quiet. There was nothing, no birds, no crickets, no nothing. And then I hear it. I hear shuffling behind me as somebody was dragging their feet through the rocks. Behind me, maybe 5-10 feet. And all this time, am I just too occupied trying to unlock these poles that I'm not paying attention to what's going on around me? I don't know. I don't really think that's the case. But what happened was, I have a gun on my hip. I'm thinking, do I pull it and strip it and pull it? Or just swing around and see what it is? Because I can't see what's behind me. I get a pole free. I spin around in a half circle. There's nothing there. I hear the shuffling to the right side of me that I can't see. So I spin again and look. I don't see anything. In the direction that I'm looking in, the opposite is happening in the other place. Freaking out, my heart's racing. Throw my pole in the back of the truck, slam the tailgate, jump in the truck, turn it on. As I'm driving away, my heart's racing. Because I don't know what it is that I'm seeing. I can't explain it.
What do you think it is, though?
I wasn't supposed to be there. Definitely wasn't supposed to be there by myself.
Felt wrong?
Oh yeah, by every means. Everything in my body told me I wasn't supposed to be there when all this stuff was going on. The crazy part about this is I'm driving down the canal bank, got an extra cab truck. I can feel my seat, my driver's seat as I'm driving, and I'm probably doing 50, 60 miles down the canal bank.
Didn't you say there was somebody, you felt like somebody was in the back seat behind you?
Kicking or punching the chair that I'm driving in. The crazy thing was, ironically, a few days later after I get back in town and I'm home and going through all the mess that's going on in my mind and trying to figure out what's happening, because something like that hasn't happened to me before. Other things have happened, but nothing to that extreme. Find out that the area that I was in, there was a lot of untimely, unnatural things that happened there. That came from an elder. Said stuff like that happens there all the time. And I was like, how's that true? I've fished there my whole life growing up. He said, it's your turn. What I saw and what I seen and what I can explain are vaguely different.
So I think there's some definite strange areas that there's something going on.
Yeah, a lot of unexplained phenomenons happen, especially at night out here. So
There's a place not far from here, from where we're at tonight. Several years back, doing a New Year's thing. A bunch of people are hanging out. And in this area, there's a wash runs into, called the Torso. A lot of people camp there, and I don't know if they've ever run across this, but I know I did. There was no wind that night. It was cold. I had to refill the generator to keep the trailer warm in the morning. And pop out to go fill it up. And it's 0 dark 30, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. 39 degrees probably. And I see this thing in the distance moving in the distance. It had a strange glow to it. It was a torso. I could see the arms moving. I couldn't see legs. I couldn't see a head. And I'm watching this thing as it moves through this open area to a set of trees. Kind of like the tree set we have kind of around where we're at now. And it disappeared.
UP, you ever seen anything really strange out here, man? You've been here your whole life?
yeah, well, I used to, back in the, I guess the early 80s, me and my girl were out here. I had a Land Cruiser back then. And we were pretty much about a wash or two away from here, a couple of miles. We were just out there, you know. One of the things we used to do is just go out here in the desert at night and look at the stars, and you could see the satellites going over, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of peaceful. It's kind of zen, you know, to get out here. And all of a sudden, I kind of felt like, just like, I don't know, when you get the doom feeling, you know, you get the hair on the back of your neck standing up, like something's not right. And my girl, she's looking over and she saw what she's described as a floating lady there in a white dress, and she was just floating off down the wash there. And I was, you know, trying to get away from there because I was feeling like, oh crap, this is scary. Something's not right. We don't feel good, and we're both feeling safe. And so we headed back into town, which is about, I don't know, about 6 miles or so. Half of that is through the desert, and then you get onto a blacktop. And we didn't talk until we got back in town, and we both kind of said, you know, hey, what was that? You know, we started talking about it, and then she described this woman that she saw floating out there, and I was like, man, I don't know, it was sure scary. And yeah, we didn't come back for quite a while back out here, but still, this is our place we always went to, and it's kind of
sounds like Llorona. There's many of you out there that probably don't know this. I don't know if it's specific to just the Southwest Mexico region, but La Llorona is a whole tale in itself. And both of you guys could probably explain that better than me. She's a mother that lost her children and died, or she's near a canal or body of water?
Yeah,
She murdered them.
yeah. What happened was
She murdered them?
From what I heard the story, my you know, we talk about it, or we've been told about it. It was the Llorona, crying woman. This is back when the French occupied the area, and her boyfriend or her
Lover.
her armor split, went back to France, and so she was real despondent, and so I guess what she did is she drowned her children in water, and supposedly she goes up and down the bodies of water, floating, searching for someone to drown. You know, it's kind of, yeah. Like, I grew up next to a canal, and every time we walked out, you would always hear extra footsteps behind us. You know, like, what's going on? And you really didn't want to look back. You just want to keep moving forward because, you know, you don't want to see what's behind you. And at the same time, you walk faster, the footsteps speed up behind you, and it's a pretty common thing out there when I grew up out here in this area.
I always thought it was a tale where she was just trying to find her lost children, but she would take children in to drown them.
Yeah, the story I had heard is that she had drowned the children, and because of her lover or whatever, or more had gone away, and but that's a pretty big legend. I think that's probably a lot of Hispanics. Maybe the idea was to keep the children away from the waters, especially at night, because a lot of bad things happen.
A little bit of
A little legend in there. A little
legend and good night tales to keep kids in line.
That's a lot of the legends were like a bit, like I said, come out here. We're not real close to the canal. We're here a few miles from it. I don't know why she would be up here, but it was something. And there's another legend of a witch out here that family members had seen, and were pretty disturbed by what they saw, and they were just wanting to get away from the area. And that's kind of this feeling you got too. It just it's something that you don't understand, and it's dark, and your vision out here is a lot different. You're only going to see what's in your headlights. In the whole wide desert, there's all kinds of things that you don't know that you can see during the day. We're out here, we can see miles, miles and miles, but
on a lit moon night, you can actually see a lot farther in pitch black out here in the desert than you can in the woods. And those bushes and cactus they seem to come alive. You see a lot of things and people out there.
Yeah. Definitely.
The perception is at nighttime when it's dark and you have some moonlight, shadows start to move, and your perception, your depth perception, trying to pick up what you're looking at. You might have a slight breeze, moving things around, so you're really careful what you see out there. Getting back to what they were talking about earlier about the Llorona, they're all wise tales. So we're talking about the wise tales, and we're talking about like stuff that happened, and of course, the parents are using it against you. The kids growing up, they want you to maintain and whatnot, the kukui, the Llorona, all these different things. But at some point, at some time in life, that didn't just come from somewhere. That wasn't just made up. Every legend has some truth to it at some point, and you got to kind of figure out what it is. But when you got out to a place like this and you're running around doing your things and having fun, you run into stuff that you can't explain. And when you start asking the questions, people are like, oh, what are you seeing, and where are you going, and what are you doing? Yeah. But until you come out here and experience it, until you see it for yourself, we're just talking out of the side of our neck, pretty much, talking about what we see and what we do. But there's a place not far from here that a guy hung out with that I've known a long time, known him pretty much all his life. And there's stories he tells of banshees out in the desert that he hears. It's a woman's voice, and he heard it several times. And the guys that he worked with he would tell them, hey, we need to send help to this person. Somebody's out here getting hurt. They're like, you need to come in. You need to come in. So obviously they know about this stuff. So they bring him in. They say, look, you can go out there and search all you want to. You're not going to find it. But we've all heard it.
Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe there's a bleed over from another dimension going on here. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts. But maybe it's like a repeat of a video flashing, and there's something going on in that event in time. And the same thing goes with this faceless guy. I've heard that a couple times from a few other people, almost the exact same description, which is pretty crazy. There's another time Mr. Fish here had a very strange experience while he was working out in the middle of literally nowhere, by the way, and kind of makes your skin crawl.
So I'm working a mid shift or second shift, however you want to put it. So I'm
midnight or probably late night.
Oh yeah, second shift is most considered like an afternoon shift. When they consider afternoon shift, it's to like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm working a second shift or mid shift, we called it. And I'm tasked to go out.
What time of the year is this though?
Summertime.
Summertime, okay.
Yeah. So we always had this rule. At least I had this rule. I came up with it because it worked for me. And I always understood, like, I had gone to this place like 4 or 5 days in a row. So I go there and I would hear stuff. And when I mean hear stuff, I would hear birds, animals, the desert, alive.
Outside or inside? Or
Well, it's outside. of this area, and then I have to go into a building or a section of it that was covered. The outside, you could hear the wildlife. You could hear the birds, you know, making noise, animal life in the
So
desert.
you're going into a building.
Pretty much. So as I'm going to this building on this particular time, the 3 or 4 days prior to that, everything was normal. Normal meaning I drive up, the usual wildlife is still happening. I'm good, so I have no issues. On this particular day, I drive up, no noise, no birds, no night birds, no owls, no crickets, no nothing. Everything.
You know what though? When somebody says, and I've been in some places where you hear absolutely nothing, there's always something wrong. There's something going on.
Yeah, because the president was set was prior to that, all this stuff was happening. There was things happening prior to this day, and on this day, there was this little kangaroo mouse that ran around outside picking up whatever. So, you know, that was kind of the key, that everything was going to be, there was nothing to worry about. On this day, it wasn't alive near the area that I had to go into. No birds, no bugs, no noise, no nothing. Kind of felt a little uneasy about it, you know, but I still have to do what I get paid to do. Oh, as I'm getting ready to enter this area, I pull up in the truck and I notice this, because the windows are down in summertime, so it's not cold by any means, but yeah, at least 100, 105, maybe 110, depending what month it is. So I'm driving up. There's this window cut out in the area of this area I have to go into, and in that window, the light's on inside so that, you know, we can go inside. It looks a little cloudy, like there's clouds in it, or there's smoke in it, or something. Wasn't clear it had been the days before, which was kind of makes you for wonder for a second. You're like, what's wrong? As I enter into the door to go into this, half the room is filled with a smoke, like a cloudy, smoky thing. And behind me there was a chair. The chair faced the wall. And I saw that and I was like, that was awfully weird. And as I kind of look around and kind of snap to what was going on, that all dissipated. All of a sudden it was gone, like it wasn't there anymore. So I'm performing my job functions. And there's an accountability of people in that place. I'm the only one in that place. And as I start to log information down, I hear this noise. Like a chair on a tile floor that's not getting picked up to turn around, but drug across the floor. I look back, and the chair that was facing away from me is now facing me. And it got really hot in there. It's warm already outside, but now I'm sweating.
It was cold and then it got hot?
And then it got hot. And as soon as I saw that, the door was immediately on my left. So I hit the door, I'm out of there, not finishing the job that I was supposed to do, because I just got freaked the heck out as to what just happened. I'm by myself. Get on the radio, call my buddy up. He shows up. Explain to him what has happened, the story I just told you guys. And, you know, he's like, well, let's go check it out. He does. Tell him, this is where I parked. This is the angle I was in. He goes, let's go inside. I said, I already rode this ride. Your turn. He goes in, opens the door, steps inside, turns around and says, man, it's hot in here. As he says that, a ball of light about this big shoots around his right side.
So like an orb of light shot around
yeah,
him?
like this big. You know,
About the size of cantaloupe.
pretty much. Side of his right hip, down the side of the thing, and disappeared into the dark. And I asked him, how's it feel now? Is it cool enough that? He said, it's not as hot as it was. He says, hey, stop messing with the flashlight. I said, what flashlight? He said, the flashlight you have. I opened the door to the truck. I reach inside, got the flashlight. I flick it. I said, you talking about this one that's been in the truck the whole time? And he said, gotta go. Get off the truck. We're driving away. And then later on, he explains to me that stuff there happens that he didn't want to tell me about because he didn't want me to freak out.
You don't want to think you're crazy or he was crazy.
He was crazy. And then he said stuff like that happens like all the time out there. And, you know, I've gone back there many times, had to for work at the time, and there's some things you kind of key on and things that you see is repetitive. And when I saw that there was no animal life around there, I didn't want to be there.
Yeah, when there's no animal life, there's no sound. There's something going on. And I've learned that many times being out there by myself. When you're out there by yourself, sometimes your mind wants to play tricks. Small sounds sound like big sounds. But really, when everything's silent, there's something in the area. That is almost a given. There's a predator in the area. There's a disturbance in the air.
There's a dominance. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, something that, like I said, dominates everything else, and everything else says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to shut down now and go over here." And, you know, the critters understand that too. They say, "You know, we're going to go over this way."
That was the biggest thing was, you know, all the animal life going on for the weeks I was going over there. And everything was normal. You go in, not do your thing, not worry about nothing. But this day was different. The air was different. Everything was different. You kind of felt like it was stuffy, even outside.
So I wonder if there's like a
Pressure.
yeah, pressure, different vibe. The animals pick that up through their whiskers, antennas maybe too.
Well, you know, your hairs on your body are like your antennas as well. So that's why they rise when things happen or something comes up you can't real sure of. They rise because it's your feelers.
Yep.
Yeah, I've had that out here a couple of times, and you know, you just go back to town. And say, you know, this isn't the night to do it. It's just night to go stay in town. But you know, you still come back out here because this is our love out here. You know, this is what we grow up doing.
We've been doing this since the late 80s, early 90s that I can remember. And we still come out here and we still come out and do this fun stuff and we do this. And, you know, things are going to happen. And, you know,
You can't be afraid of it. I think it's like when people talk about wild animals, you know, you got to be on your guard because they're wild. But if your demeanor is in a good demeanor and you can match that demeanor, then maybe everything will be all right. But if as cheeky as this sounds, I don't want to say the word vibes. If you're putting off bad vibes, that thing is going to put off bad vibes to match it. Yeah. But you should still be on your 100%, you know, awareness on things. But
well, that you know, you touch into your sixth sense. There, you know, something out there.
Third eye stuff.
That does. You know, we have, like you said, we have the antenna out there that tells you something wrong.
You're the coyotes?
Yeah. I think, you know, don't ever have to worry about the live animals out here. They're more afraid of us than we are of them.
Yeah.
That's what you got to tell yourself, and they are. I mean, we're not normally in their predator.
oh, there goes a coyote right now. Perfect timing.
Yeah, they're right over the ridge.
They're all around us.
Yeah. You're picking that up on audio. Look at packs of them.
How cool is that?
They're getting together. This guy's right here in our wash.
Yeah, he's right there. He must have smelled the burgers, the fire. See it. Yeah, you know, the thing about out camping, if you're coming to a place where there's danger around you, get to safety. You know, you don't have to confront every danger you see. You know, if there's a mountain lion, get somebody where they can't get to you. You know he's a big kitty, but don't play with him.
But you know, hearing these animals, probably we're safe from the other crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they're warning something is also around, so...
Yeah, they're trying to get together is what they're trying to do right now.
Those coyotes can be pretty nasty creatures when they pack up on you, but I'll tell you what, if you do hear them out in the distance, then most likely everything's in kind of a normal balance. Yeah. There's nothing bigger than the coyote out there.
Now you gotta have... Jeez. I don't have to agree to get the engines run because there's nothing to work on them anymore. And the technology's great for, you know, most of them. And
yeah, the technology is nice to have the upgrade to stuff that you didn't have before, but when they don't work anymore, it's a real pain because it's not like you can just go in the garage and jack it up and start working on it, because there's a lot more of the things that are a little more sophisticated than you know about.
Yeah.
The resistors and stuff that talks to this, talks to that, and it could be a cylinder, it could be a solenoid, it could be something else. You know,
most of the time it's some stupid sensor that's gone wrong, and you got to find that sensor.
yeah,
You can change out all the rest of the stuff that actually matters, but if any of the tech stuff goes out, then you're screwed.
I think now the equivalent now is probably YouTube videos. You go to YouTube videos and,
and
you can see
the magnet you got with it shows you how to change everything, how to replace the master cylinder, how to pull the brake drums off, how to. Not once did it tell you don't eat the little bag that goes with the with the parts that come in, because it's keeping the the moisture out of it so it doesn't rust.
No,
We didn't have that stuff on it.
if you've ever set points on a vehicle, you
remember
you're
that?
pretty old.
You can flip to it, open it up, it'll tell you what the gap was supposed to be, and you take your gapper and you check your spark plugs and make sure.
We had a certain friend that decided to drop a spark plug during I think it was a voltage test on the ignition system. He dropped the spark plug wire, so he just grabbed it by his hand, and that was well, now that's old school. That was 90s kind of spark technician stuff. Anyways, the oscilloscope, because we were still practicing with oscilloscopes, which is hilarious, but it was putting out 60,000 volts.
Yeah.
So he goes and picks it up, and he grabs it, and he just starts shaking, and he shoves the thing onto the spark plug, and the teacher's looking at him like, "Are you okay? Did you pee your pants?" He's like, "No, I'm good. That was pretty awesome, man." He's like, "Pretty awesome." Everybody's laughing. 60,000 right through his hand. He just shoved it right back on.
Hey, he's trying to steal my stereo. The guy's on the floor. "Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't know that was yours."
Somebody.
What part of it wasn't your vehicle that you didn't realize?
What should we do? And I said, "There's a little burb right before it." We hit back. And that shit flew for days. It was so we were laughing. I'm holding on to the cold beer, and it's wet, and it just goes out right away. And he goes, "Oh."
And he was putting it out right on his bare skin.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh man, you gotta. If you go into bars enough, you can learn to do stupid crap. That's bad."
Little JR story.
I was driving one night, dark, pitch black night. The truck broke down and the semi rolled up. Light in the cab turned on, and I opened the door, and this older woman was a truck driver. She looked over at me and said, "There was a terrible crash."
Large Marge. Tell me you found your bike at the Alamo in the basement.
All kidding aside, besides JR's big adventure there, we've all experienced some pretty weird things out here in the desert. Caterpillar in the desert.
Oh man,
There's a lot of them out here. Have you seen those lilies out there? Well, that's an inchworm.
Just caught this. Look at that.
Thing about all this stuff, stories and stuff, everybody's got one, and everybody's got some truth to it. And we're all gonna have stories, and if you don't come out and do this stuff, you're gonna have cool stories to talk about later on. Good fire, good stories.
If you ain't doing it, you're missing it.
That's the truth. You just got to go outside and do it, right?
You got to go do it. Create your own stories. Pass them on to people and your friends and next generation. Forrest Gump say, "Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get."
It's true.
Once you get them coals going, man, that
It'll
heat
start up when you least expect it.
Throw a couple of the old sausages on the fire. Oh yeah, there we go. Some andouilles. All right, well, Uncle UP's taking off early. Unfortunately, he's got to work tomorrow, so he's got about an hour drive back to town. All right, man.
Take care, man.
Take care. All right, time to pull these off. And Mr. Pescado wants to go Mexican style, so he threw on tortillas for his andouilles. But I'm going white boy style with my potato buns. Oh yeah, those are nice and hot and ready to roll. You got to roll that just like that. Just like a mini burrito or a taco.
Oh yeah. I'm doing Mexican style.
Yeah, Mr. Pescado here is really into those bratwursts, but I'll tell you what, I told him, you got to try one of these andouilles. Andouille in a tortilla. That was pretty good. I think I like the andouille better than the bratwurst. Tell you what, that spiciness in there, that probably works out real good in a tortilla, huh?
It's pretty good. Only thing I gotta say is how you andouille.
Not a bad night tonight. It's probably cooled down to about a whole 75 degrees. Just nice enough to get a good night's sleep. Oh, it's weird that lantern's not moving. That one down there is kind of moving weird. Dead silent out here tonight. Been pretty dark. You can just about pick up the Orion. I don't know what those 3 stars down there are. Well, the fire's just about done. Mr. Fish is warming up his vehicle because he's going to be camping inside the Pilot tonight. If I were going to be out here another day, I would just pile dirt over this fire, keep them coals hot, uncover it, and get my breakfast going in the morning. Not too bad in the back of the Pilot.
Not at all.
See you in the morning, dude. I think I'm just gonna leave the windows open tonight. Yeah, it was a pretty good day. I'm pretty tuckered out, so I'll see you all in the AM. I think someone drank all my beer. Now it's time to clean up the mess before that giant ball of fire starts burning us up. Looks like Mr. Fish is already up and at it. He was probably starting to cook in that box already. Yeah, even though I soaked that down last night, these coals are still going. That's incredible. No need for giant rock rings when you're out in the desert. And if you don't plan on staying a long time, it's always a good idea to make sure you leave no trace. Otherwise, you get a million different campfire holes all over the desert. A lot of people always ask what I do with trash if I'm boondocking. Well, if you have some trees around, you could hang it at night. We don't have really big critters out here to worry about. Other than maybe a mountain lion or a bobcat, but that's kind of rare unless you're out in the mountains. So the best thing to do is if you have a pickup truck, bag or double bag all your junk, throw it in the bed of your truck, and lock it up. That keeps the coyotes and small critters away anyway, or at least from destroying your campsite with trash. So Mr. Fish got to use my X-Ped Mega Mat last night. What'd you think?
I think I need to invest heavily in this because I had a lower back pain from a long trip I took driving a big vehicle, big truck vehicle type, and it was sore. My lower back was sore. This thing last night, sleeping on it, that soreness is gone. I don't feel that pain anymore.
Got the air pressure right. Yeah, these things are pretty nice. They're self-inflating, but you still need to inflate them a little bit. And everything is all packed up and ready to rock out before 8:30. And now it's time for me to get cleaned up, end this video in a reverse fashion with waking up this time, because I need to do the final tab review, which you've probably already seen. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. It was just a short overnighter with a couple buddies that wanted to get out and do a little bit of camping, relaxing, and drinking. There might have been a little too much drinking going on. And I'm really hoping that some of that campground audio and at least some of that video from the Campfire tales came through. And if not, I apologize, and I'll definitely work on that for you. And as usual, I'll probably be out and about again in the next coming week or so. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. I will probably most likely head north at least one more time, since we're still kind of fading in and out of this summer temperature down south here. It's just cool enough to be able to camp at night and get an okay sleep. It only got down to about 67 last night. But if you don't have shade like this out here during the day, it's not real fun. So I'm not sure when I'm going to start doing the desert camping, but you never know. So see you all in the next adventure.